It's been only days since The Life of a Showgirl dropped, and the internet is divided. Major critics, from The Guardian to Hollywood Reporter, are calling it underwhelming. Some even say Taylor's finally lost her spark. But how did Taylor Swift react to the wave of criticism? Stick around, her response might surprise you. The first major blows came from respected music critics, not random voices online, but people who've followed Taylor's career for over a decade. The Guardian's Alexis Petridis didn't mince words. He argued that parts of Showgirl sound like Taylor is coasting rather than conquering, saying that while her production sparkles, the emotional depth that once defined her writing seems dulled by confidence. It was the kind of review that stings. Not because it's cruel, but because it comes from someone who has praised her highest highs. Then came Pitchfork, taking direct aim at actually romantic. They called the song mean, lyrically shallow, and even compared its tone to a Kidz Bop rendition of Where Is My Mind. The remark went viral within hours, turning into memes and TikToks that exaggerated every lyric. To fans, it felt like critics were missing the humor and self-awareness behind Taylor's wordplay. But to reviewers, it was proof she'd gone too far into caricature. Other outlets joined the conversation. Newsweek acknowledged that Rolling Stone gave the album a glowing 5-star review, but balanced it with a reminder. Several industry veterans said it lacks sparkle. That contrast, universal sales success versus uneven artistic reception, became the new talking point. Even The Guardian doubled down, noting that Showgirl had become statistically the worst-reviewed album in her catalog after her debut, despite debuting at #1 worldwide. In other words, critics were skeptical, but the audience didn't care. And it wasn't just the overall tone. Reviewers dissected details. In Eldest Daughter, some called her phrasing memey and disjointed, saying the once poetic Taylor was now chasing trends. In Wood, her sensual metaphors drew both praise and eye rolls. Half the reviewers called it bold, the other half called it bizarre. What united all of them, though, was surprise. Nobody expected Taylor Swift, the master of reinvention, to release an album this polarizing. Within days, the debate wasn't just about the songs anymore. It was about whether Taylor had finally reached a point where she no longer needed to prove anything, or whether she'd played it too safe in an era that expects her to keep reinventing pop itself. Eventually, Taylor broke silence. Not with anger, but with grace. In a recent interview with Zane Lowe, she said, "I have a lot of respect for people's subjective opinions on art. I'm not the art police. Everybody is allowed to feel exactly how they want." She also leaned into the criticism with defiant acceptance. "If you're saying either my name or my album title, you're helping." Taylor emphasized that criticism is part of the conversation she wants. That she sees her art not just as creation, but as dialogue. The noise isn't a threat, she claims. It's part of what makes her world turn. In a world where fans interpret every lyric, every glance, every Easter egg, her answer is simple. She will keep making art, stay true, and let the world speak and listen too.